Why is it that like every time I try to watch like a new anime that comes out, it's so fucking predictable and it's like the same fucking shit every time I try to watch an anime. And I really mean that. It's like it's not just predictable, it's like there's so many anime tropes now that I think a lot of people don't even recognize unless you watch like a shit ton of anime. I mean, a couple of them a lot of people recognize, but a lot of them are so under the radar, but it's in every fucking anime. So, I mean, this is just gonna be a rant. I turn on this anime and this is what I get for trying to watch an isekai anime. These are like the most like slop, cut and paste fucking anime ever. And I don't even know how Japan is like greenlighting all of these fucking isekai anime that add nothing. They add literally nothing to the genre. Like it's on, and the problem is they can't even continue the series. I don't know if you've ever read the light novels for some of these, but some of them are so fucking bad past like the first season or two. Like all of them have like a maybe an interesting concept at the beginning, but it always ends up being like slop and shit after like maybe even season 2, season 3. Like that's why they never get adapted. You're like, why did this never get a season 2? It's because the novel is shit. Anyway, I turned on this isekai. It's called, let me read this to you. I get what I deserve for turning this shit on. I should have known immediately it was going to be slop. But the animation looked good, and that's the problem. These shows get you because you're like, oh, this looks cool. They tried. It's going to be cool. And then One Punch Man Season 3 gets dog shit animation. But this show, my status as an assassin obviously exceeds the heroes. Already I could tell this was going to be like power fantasy dog shit. But all I had to go off of, because I just be finding these shows and I'm like, I look at like a bit of the first episode. It started off kind of interesting. Like he's an assassin. He's fighting this guy, like some other ninja assassin guy. And I'm like, okay, this is going to kind of be cool. Then you get the first isekai trope. This is nothing out of expectation for an isekai. His whole class gets transported. And you already know the story of this. The king is evil. Okay? If you're watching an anime, there's two things that you're absolutely certain of in any isekai anime. Number one, the people you expect to be the good guys, the church, the government, the king, the queen, the princess, any of these people, maybe the princess will be okay because they need more love interest for the protagonist. But any of these people like king, church, typical Western standard characters that should be like good or you should be trusting them, they're completely evil. They have assassin rings, they're doing black market shit, they're involved in slave trade, they're racist to beast men and cat girls and fucking demons, and then subsequently, the Demon King is not the bad guy. The only reason the Demon King could ever commit genocide to humans is because they killed the people the Demon King loved and they starved the people and they cast them out into the abyss. Every fucking time. This is like cut and paste isekai or just pretty much any anime, and even RPGs now do this. It's like, this is the generic slop. This is the expectation. If you click on an isekai anime, if you click on a fantasy anime, medieval fantasy, like almost 100% of the time, this is going to be the case. Church bad, king bad, class gets transported if it's an isekai, or it's just the one guy, and it's going to be a total power fantasy. So I don't even know what the fuck I was thinking turning this shit on. I mean, as you can see, I'm a huge weeb. I watch all this fucking anime. So and believe it or not, I have standards. I know I have a high school DxD post, so you might think I don't have standards. That's a patrician anime, first off. But this show, anyway, I give it a shot. And every single thing that happens in the show basically pisses me off. And I think I got halfway through it. I watched 6 episodes. I did this before I went to bed last night, so I'm up until like 5 in the morning watching 6 episodes of this shit. I think I started like 1 or 2 in the morning, some shit like that. Got off at like 4:30. Every single thing that happens is the most predictable shit. if you couldn't predict every single thing that happened in this show up until at least this point in the show, there was one thing I got wrong. I will get to that. But if you couldn't predict every other single thing that fucking happened in this show, you're like brainlet. Like you have total brain rot. You're low level IQ, subhuman, probably sub 5. I'm sub 5. But you're done. You're toast. Like literally give up on watching TV in general if you couldn't predict this show. Like the people who would watch this and think it's like epic, I feel bad for you, bro. Like legit. The fight scenes are kind of alright. Honestly, they're not even that good. They look kind of like AI slop somehow. I don't even think it was done with AI, but it looks like AI. If it is AI, that'd be funny. But it looks like it's fucking AI. Anyway. So the king bad. Immediately, like, his class gets transported. Of course, he's not the hero. He's an assassin. That's like his thing. And, you know, we've done the assassin isekai before, I think. And none of them have been good. I think I've watched other ones too. Like, I'm the world's greatest assassin. And then I get reincarnated. And he's like a twink when he gets reincarnated. But he's still like way stronger than the hero. I'm way better than the hero. The hero's just a pussy. And I have the harem even though I'm a fucking contracted killer. Anyway, and this guy doesn't kill. He has one of those rules where he's like, I can't kill people. That's bad. Anyway, he finds out immediately that the king is bad, and he has an opportunity to kill him, and he doesn't. It's like, all right, maybe you can forgive the first time. He found out the king was bad, and he's like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't kill this guy. He's like a regent, you know, like he runs this country, which those weren't his reasons. His reasons were like, oh, I just didn't do it. And he meets this like knight guy, and the only thing that I was wrong about was I expected the knight guy to like turn on him and be evil. But he ends up just being like Giga Chad, and he was honestly a really cool character, and of course they kill him off. Anytime there's like an actual good character, they either have to subvert it and make him like a total douchebag, or they have to kill him off. Because you can't have any male character compete for the spot of like, I like this guy, besides the protagonist. You can't have it. Like, you either have to make them pathetic and weak and shove them off to the side, which they do with all the other male characters in the show, or it's like that you have to kill them or make them evil. Because you can't have this likable, competent, strong, and honestly handsome. He was kind of spicy, you know? He was a little bit spicy. He had like long flowing hair and shit. He was a Giga Chad. And so they killed him. Anyway, the whole thing is like he gets framed for that guy's death. But before that even happens, he finds out that the princess is using these crystals to literally like hypnotize and manipulate his classmates. Especially like the hero guy. So he goes into the room and he confronts the princess, and she looks like she might be hypnotized or something too. She's got like no pupils in her eyes. I don't know what's going on with that. I didn't care, honestly. He goes into the room and he cuts the crystal, and then he points the knife at her and he's like, what are you fucking doing? Like, did you do something to these guys? And what does this motherfucker do? He just cuts the one crystal, takes it, and leaves. They just had to manufacture conflict to keep the story moving. Because had he just knifed that bitch right then and there, nobody else would have been hypnotized. Giga Chad would not have been killed. And he could have just killed the king too, honestly. Why keep them alive? He's literally, at this point... And then here's the other thing. When he takes the crystal back to Giga Chad, I don't remember the guy's name, it's like Saren or Sarana or something like that. He goes back to him, and the guy's like, oh, well, it might have even been before this. The knight was planning a coup against the king, but was like, you know, maybe we should be peaceful about it. And he brought it up initially. He's like, well, I could have just killed him. I don't really have an attachment to the kingdom. And he's like, but you don't want to murder people. Don't be a murderer. And I'm just like, that's the stupidest shit Giga Chad ever did. He should have said, wait, you'd do that? You'd kill that motherfucker for me? Really? And nobody would know you did it because you're like 100,000% invisible? You have maxed invisibility skill? You can just fucking knife him in the neck and leave? So he doesn't kill the princess. She hypnotizes everybody else, puts the blame on him, of course, and now he has a revenge quest to get revenge for Giga Chad. And how does he go about this revenge quest? He doesn't go invisible and just knife these motherfuckers because they cannot catch him because he has perfect near perfect invisibility. I think they mentioned that there's a thing like monsters can sense his temperature or sound. But remember this, he was sneaking into the archives. Nobody could see him on the cameras. He was wandering around. The only person who saw him was Giga Chad. So he could easily go back, murder the king, murder the princess. But the story must go on. We have to have this back conflict. Anyway, predictable shit. This is all, and I'm bitching about it, but this is all predictable shit. So up until this point, there's one thing that I didn't predict, and it was Giga Chad wasn't a bad guy. At first, I thought he was going to instantly be a bad guy, but he was just spicy and he was Giga Chad. And they killed him. So now what does he do? He's like, I gotta level up. I'm going to go to a dungeon. If you've watched anime, you already know the formula of all these isekai anime. Almost all of them. What does he have to acquire next? It's not levels. He doesn't need levels. He's already got this shadow bullshit skill that just kills enemies, but it's hard to control, kind of. He needs to acquire a girl. It's anime. We can't have our protagonist walking around without a girlfriend who loves him for no reason immediately. So they have to engineer a hot elf girl to orbit him, and she can maybe do magic or something. And I think they announced that she has 2 abilities. She can do this gravity magic that just fucking flattens anything. And then she has resurrection. Oh, and she's a princess. Don't forget she's a princess. And he found her in a fucking slime. The way he found her and the way they describe how she got to him, it's implied that her sister shot her off a cliff with arrows, tried to kill her, which that story, I'll get to that. That's the stupidest shit. Her sister is the stupidest shit. That plot line. We'll go into that. But her sister was gonna kill her with an arrow, and she gravity magicked herself and fell off a cliff. She survived the fall off a cliff and swam bleeding with arrows in her from one continent to another continent. She went from one continent where the elves live through the ocean, bleeding with an arrow in her, possibly unconscious, and wound up on the shore of the human continent. And then she gets eaten by a black slime, and the slime who was on the shore of the beach went from the shore of the beach of the continent all the way down to the 80th or whatever fucking floor of a dungeon where the protagonist found her. Anyway, he acquires girlfriend. What are we missing in this scenario here? Really think about it for a second. If you've watched anime, you already know what's missing. And the moment I saw this character, I literally just went like... We really couldn't even go like more than one episode before the acquisition of a mascot character. We couldn't even go one episode between when he acquires girl to acquire mascot. It was like one fucking episode. And he's fighting this dragon, and then it turns into a cat. I'm like, dude, I'm so fucking tired I am so tired of anime being shit, bro. I really am. Like, and then it's just this bullshit of like, oh, well, and then, of course, you find out Demon King actually not bad. Demon King wants to see you. Demon King predicted all of this. I'm like, okay. Then when they teleport, they're supposed to teleport back out of the dungeon. But the portal can take you wherever you want to go. And now he could have just used it to go home. He could have clicked his heels 3 times. Or whatever Dorothy did. I want to go home. No place like home. Texas, Kansas, whatever. I fucked that up so bad. No place like home, Kansas. He could have clicked his heels 3 times and went back home. But instead, he's like, no, I have to avenge Giga Chad, which is honorable. It's still stupid that he didn't just do it anyway. He could have already done it. Anyway, he goes, and it teleports him back to the elf girl's homeland, which has despite being a continent and having this gigantic tree in the middle of it, there's only about 30 residents, and they're all archers. They're all warriors. So the king, and there's no homes. There's no town. There's no city. There's like a weird ruin kind of thing, I guess. I think that's the only place I remember seeing. But there's no people. There's no civilians. There's no nothing. The only implication you get of that is in the episode after all this shit I'm about to tell you happens. There's like some bandit guys who kidnapped an elf girl who was definitely not where all the other elves were. So there's an implication maybe that there's some elf village, but really there's no citizens. It's an empty fucking continent with nothing on it except a port where there's boats and then this ruin area right next to the big old tree where the king and his daughters and the army lives, essentially. But there's nowhere for them to live. So he gets transported there, and immediately the stereotypical bratty elf long-haired character. I think we've seen this character a billion times. She might have even been voiced by, like, the same fucking voice actor who voices every bratty elf. I watched the Japanese one, and I'm like, she just sounds like every other bratty elf character ever. And now, very obviously, this is so hard to predict, she's hypnotized the army and she's trying to kill her sister to acquire power, I guess, because her sister is cursed with being epic and bigger titties. I don't know. Anyway, so she's jealous of her sister, of course. Tries to kill her. Doesn't work because protagonist is there and he's fucking epic. Dad shows up and he's like, I'm gonna punish my daughter for trying to kill my other daughter. Fair enough. Then he's like, well, my other daughter is my successor. She needs to be taking over. And protagonist is like, no, she's my girlfriend now. But I'm not fucking her and I'm not kissing her. Because nobody would watch the show if I did any of that. If I did any of that, there'd be no romantic tension. And me avoiding it. So, the king is like, you can fight my blonde daughter. And then if you beat her, you can take my other daughter. Anyway, so she's supposed to be this warrior or whatever. And there's this whole plot like, my sister's a bitch, blah, blah, blah. Nobody likes me. Fair enough, whatever, some kind of like Cain and Abel shit. He beats her, naturally. Then the king, she's like, oh, like, it's my fault, I'm a bitch, like, I hate my sister because she took everything from me. And then they're like, actually, no, this is where it gets fucky. The king's like, no, it's all my fault, I erased your memory. When I tell you, this was the absolute stupidest, non-sequitur shit I've ever fucking seen in an anime. They could have left it exactly as it was. They could have just said, look, you're jealous of your sister because she's blighted and actually she's just like really strong and whatever else. and we made her the successor and you just wanted the power grab. That would have been fair. But they came up with the stupidest way to try to make it like, I was wrong the whole time. My sister really does care, and actually she is great, and I was wrong about everything. What they did was, she was this warrior, and she was up in arms and stuff, and she wanted to get stronger because her sister basically was better than her at everything. And so she goes into a dungeon, and some demon little shit tricks her into spawning a bunch of bad guys, and because that happens, she tries to run away, and then her, like, love interest guy got killed or something, and then her sister resurrected him, and they're like, we're just gonna make you forget. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with the plot? What does that have to do with anything? Really, what's the connection? Oh, she's, like, jealous of her sister, and we made her forget that she was, like, her sister was awesome? And then it's just like, oh, I love my sister now. Bro, shut the fuck up. And then they're, like, all connected and happy again. I got, like, maybe another episode or two after this. That might have been, like, episode 4. But I'm telling you, I watched that shit and I'm like, what the fuck is even going on with this? Who the fuck wrote this shit? They might as well just have AI write these anime now. Honestly. Like, if this is the best that the Japanese novelists are coming up with, the Japanese writing team, if this is what is able to get a budget and get fucking animated in Japan, you guys are fucked. You guys are cooked. Nobody is looking at this and being like, oh, like, at most, this is like gonna get Eminence and Shadow level attention where it's like, oh, that was kind of cool. And then who's talking about it? I think even that show, a little more people are interested in it because at least it has a little more of an allure because the protagonist is an obnoxious shit and there's all these waifu characters or whatever. So at least that has, like, some kind of allure that this doesn't have. It has some kind of, like, gotcha thing. But what does this have? What does this show provide? So then we move on to these next 2 episodes. I'll briefly cover them because it's so fucking stupid and predictable. Elf Girl gets kidnapped by some demon guy when they go to some other Beastman continent. And they meet a Beastman guy who was, like, once a hero, but now he's a depressed piece of shit. And he's like a blacksmith or whatever. And it's just, he's a predictable character. And I'm like, who's watching this shit and being like, dude, this is so cool? Is anybody saying that? Like, if it genuinely, and I'm sure there's going to be people who come out here and are like, oh, dude, it flew over your head. Like, you didn't get it, bro. You didn't get it. You're just a fucking whiner. Like, you're sitting there with your fucking high school DxD wall scroll and your fucking anime bookcase and you're gonna shit on this, bro? You have no taste. That's because anime fans are conditioned to like dog shit. Anime fans will watch anything and think it's good. Anime fans watch fucking Boruto and shit like that. Anime fans are on their 2 billionth episode of fucking One Piece. And they're like, trust me, bro. Trust me. After 900 hours of watching, it's gonna get good. Bro. After the 10,000th hour of watching One Piece, bro, it's gonna get good. I'm telling you, that fight scene on episode 2347, 6 minutes in after the recap, bro, you gotta watch it. But you have to like watch season 1. You gotta start from there. Otherwise, you're not gonna know what's going on. Anime fans are conditioned to... I would honestly equate most anime fans, if you call yourself an anime fan, you're probably a guy who likes like modern Pokemon games. You like Nintendo. Like it's like the same people. Or you're like a normie and all you watch is like Chainsaw Man. Which, by the way, Chainsaw Man, I think that show's dog shit too. I think the animation's cool. They did a good job with the animation, but that's not what makes a show good. You know, Tom and Jerry has more depth than a lot of anime. Has more depth too, but it has more depth. Like, most anime is so copy and fucking paste. It's getting annoying, dude. That's why I had to rant about this. Because I'm honestly debating finishing it, but I'm like, I'm looking at the episodes right here on my list, and I'm like, bro, is it good? There's nothing they can do in this show that's going to make it better. Like, what are they going to do to recover from what I've seen so far? Like, I ended up where he was fighting that little shit demon guy, and then some other demon, his boss, came in. I don't care, dude. Like, the protagonist is too epic. He's too strong. He has mascot. He has girl. Oh, and he acquired another girlfriend. Already. He's already acquired girlfriend, too. Some beast woman princess. Beast woman princess. Anyway, I'm just sick of, like, the constant... It's like a slop train, dude. It's like, it's not even consistent slop. It's just like getting worse, and like, they do nothing to differentiate themselves from any other product. It's the same product over and over and over again, renamed with slightly different character designs so they can sell another anime figure, another body pillowcase, another fucking DVD set. And the reason you never get a sequel to any of these shows, and if you do, it's only 1 or 2 max. The reason you don't get a sequel is because look at what happened with I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Season 3. Did you watch, if you watched that show, did you get up to Season 3 and sit there for like 9 episodes while people sat in the garden and talked? That's why a lot of these shows don't survive, because in the novel, you can't solve the problem because you need to pile up the slop. You need to make 20 fucking books, right? If How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom, if he rebuilt the kingdom, would there be anything to watch? Would there be any reason to buy the book? Of course not. You have to continue the slop. You have to continue making another 20 billion episodes of One Piece. Why can't they just find the One Piece? Because if they found it, there'd be no fucking show. That's why they can't find it. And that's why you get shit anime. That's why you get season 3 of the Slime Show, where it's just people sitting around and talking for like 9 episodes. They're doing nothing. Or longer. It might have even been the whole season. I can't even remember. It was so bad. I was like, what is happening? We're sitting here listening to these people fucking yap. And then the next episode would be a recap. Minutes of them fucking yapping, dude. And then people say, like, shit like High School DxD sucks. Bro, eat a dick. At least that show knew what it was about. Knew it was about titty, bro. I don't know, dude. If you're watching modern anime, bro, I just feel bad. Like, every time I try to watch it, this shit happens. And I'm just like, I'm just so disheartened by it. Because obviously, I've been watching anime since I was like a wee little lad. And it's just so sad to see, like, the genre is pretty much fucking dead at this point. Like, you'll maybe get one show every now and then. And the ones that get big, bro, they're slop, dude. Like, My Hero Academia is like Naruto 2 with a hero skin. All these shows are like the same show. And it really is the same thing over and over again. And once you see it, and once you, like, pick it out, you can immediately tell what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, what somebody's going to say. And you literally physically eye roll. Like, I was watching the show and I'm like, oh. I kept doing that. Like, I was like, oh my God. Every time they'd say something that was, like, predictable. So, I don't know. That's my rant. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about your opinion. That's fucked up. I'm not going to sit here and reply to every comment. I don't care if people shit on me or complain, but that's my opinion. I think this show is just a great signifier of, I don't even know what the word is, signifier. That's just what I'm going to go with. A metaphor, whatever. It's a great symbol, is what I should have said. A symbol. It's a great symbol of everything I fucking dislike about these modern animes. So, take that what you will. If you disagree, tell me I'm a fat weeaboo piece of shit and I should kill myself in Minecraft or whatever you want to say. But if you got this far, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me bitch and complain.